coming up.
Minister, is the Benefits Delivery Modernization Program over budget?
The microphone seems to work by itself. No, the Benefit Delivery Modernization Program is not over budget.
Well, in 2017, the Treasury Board approved program authority for $1.75 billion, and then in December of 2020, the Treasury Board approved an amended program authority of $2.2 billion.
This is really an option of never seeing so much spent but so little achieved. And I want to share this story because this is Ron, who's a constituent in my riding. This email was sent just a month ago, and you have told everybody here that passports have gotten completely corrected.
This guy's garage. Like and subscribe.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Minister, for being here today. Minister, is the Benefits Delivery Modernization Program over budget?
The microphone seems to work by itself. No, the Benefit Delivery Modernization Program is not over budget.
Well, in 2017, the Treasury Board approved program authority for $1.75 billion, and then in December of 2020, the Treasury Board approved an amended program authority of $2.2 billion. In March 18th of 2024, file Q-2229, a response from your ministry to an inquiry I sent, stated a, quote, revised estimate was still $2.2 billion. And then shockingly, less than just 1 month later, Budget 2024 added an additional $2.9 billion over 5 years, starting 2024 to 2025. Isn't that all correct, Minister?
Well, I think we need to make sure that we don't confuse program authority with budgets. When I came before committee before, I advised you myself of the $2.2 billion number, and I remember you asking me, when are we going to get a revised number? I expected it was going to be in the budget, but there was no assurances to that. You have to remember that this is in the context of a program that commenced in 2017 that is driving through to 2030. So over
Minister,
those 14 years, we have to...
What's the new number? What's the new number then?
Sorry, the new number is $4.4 billion.
So the new number is $4.4 billion, which is over $1.75 billion from the original
A higher number,
amount.
but you have to...
Oh, yes, it is.
You have to understand about how these processes work, right? So when you're doing a large-scale IT project in an agile environment, and you're using, you're replacing mainframes and programs that are in a lot of cases...
Right, I'm sure it's very complex. It's actually the largest IT project that the Canadian government has ever taken on. And so now you've confirmed that you're now at $4.4 billion. So what is in Budget 2024 says that the $2.9 billion that's in that budget is only to update the platforms for old age security and employment insurance. So the $4.4 billion is whatever has been spent so far, and whatever you have in budget of 2024 to only do funding for old age security and employment insurance. So what is the budget then? What is the amount that CPP will cost? Because part of the benefits delivery modernization also includes CPP, and that is not included in Budget 2024. So
I hate to correct you, but what you stated is incorrect. We have not, the total amount that has been contracted or spent so far is $1.1 billion, and the total budget for the program as of today is $4.4 billion.
Right. So in Budget 2024, as I said, it only references updating OAS and employment insurance. So CPP is not included yet in any of the information. So are you saying that CPP will also be on top of the $4.4 billion? Is that what you're saying today? Because that seems to be the way that it's reading in Budget 2024. So
what I'm saying is that the last time that I was here, we had spent just a little over $800 million. We are now at $1.1 billion. We have authorities for up to $4.4 billion. And of course, CPP is also benefiting from the work that we're doing now because it's all on the same platform. So therefore, you're saying that the $4.4 billion, that is the end stop. That includes all three of the programs. You're saying that includes old age security, CPP, and employment insurance. That is the number that we have been authorized to work with, yes. Okay, great. Well, that's still over $1.75 billion. You don't seem to want to understand how that number was made. I mean, there was a budget that was put together for $1.7 billion or $2.2 billion, a number of years ago, but unpacking the data models for OAS and for EI has allowed us to learn the complexities of the process and to update those numbers as we go.
Right, so the
as
budget
the
is
08
considerably higher. I want to
Sorry?
move on to something else, Minister. I do
I'm
have,
happy
I'm
to
very
move on to
limited with
something
time
else,
here. So information that your ministry provided, again, Q229, on an inquiry I made asking for a budget breakdown on this project, listed $48,978,755 for travel expenses. Now, that's a massive amount, considering the option for virtual meetings. So will you commit to tabling for this committee the detailed breakdown of the who, what, when, where, why of all of those travel expenses, $48 million in travel expenses?
I'm happy to share whatever expenses that I can share with the committee without exposing commercial confidences. So happy to endeavor to do that.
Minister, are any of those travel expenses for external contractors?
I would expect that some would be, but I don't have a breakdown with me. So again, I'd have to look at it.
So your department had provided information in the past that $669 million was paid to external contractors. So are you saying today that it might actually be higher than that because that did not include travel expenses for them?
Sorry, I was trying to see if we had the numbers available for you now. Can you just repeat that question?
So you had already confirmed at this committee previously that $669 million was for external contractors. And you've just now said that these $48 million, that some of that might also be for external contractors for their travel expenses. Would that be correct? So the $669 million might actually be higher.
Well, first of all, that's not what I
correct?
said. But I can confirm for you that the number, I can update the $669 million. That is now roughly $700 million.
So 3.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Minister, for being here. So your ministry is called, what are you the Minister of, Minister?
I'm the Minister, thank you for the question. I'm the Minister of Citizen Services. I was trying to angle for Minister of Citizen Services and Technology, but we already had a Citizen Services Minister in BC, so it sounded like a good idea.
Thank you. So Minister of Citizen Services, and you said in your opening remarks that your focus is on dental, digital, and customer service. And so we know that we are paying 50% more for bureaucracy than in 2015, and that they only want to show up 60% of the time. This article that just came out just the other day, federal public servants to return to the office 3 days a week this fall. We also know that in the 2015 Liberal election platform, Justin Trudeau promised to save billions by reducing the use of external consultants, but in reality, spending on outsourcing has increased nearly 60% from the $10.4 billion spent when Liberals took office. So this is really an option of never seeing so much spent but so little achieved. And I want to share this story because this is Ron, who's a constituent in my riding. This email was sent just a month ago, and you have told everybody here that passports have gotten completely corrected. And I just want for the record to say that you had promised digital online renewals would be in place by the fall of 2024, which still has not happened. So this is from Ron. Words cannot express the frustration my wife has just experienced with the Canadian Passport Office. We both sent our passports in for renewal at the same time, with new photos taken and signed by a professional photographer. The government has processed our payment. Of course, we are without passports until they send us the updated version. They do not expire until 2024 of October. My wife received a phone message. She's a transit bus driver and cannot take calls while working, saying that her photograph was not acceptable because her gray hair was not discernible enough from the background. We both have almost white hair as we are seniors. They asked us to call back and left the common phone contact number. Her first attempt said she was 75th in line, then slowly worked her way down to 30, and then the line went dead. Trying again, she waited for 3 hours on the phone before it was finally answered. She gave the reference number, but the representative said she would have to check with another representative and said she would need to be put on hold for possibly 20 minutes. We sat on hold with the music playing for over 20 minutes with no response. We called in with another phone and the automated message said they were closed. Yet the hold music continued on her phone. We finally had to give up. My wife was in tears. Minister, this is not what Canadians expect, nor is it what they pay for. And so for you to come in today to tell us that you are delivering customer service and meeting and exceeding standards when you still haven't even delivered on the digital passport renewal is upsetting to folks at home. I want to turn my time over to Ms. Gray, who also has a question for you. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Minister, you had talked about customer service and what your role is. I'd like to outline some service standards as reported by Service Canada for the last fiscal year, 2022-2023. Access to employment insurance call center agent. ESDC met the standard 40% of the time. Access to Canada Pension Plan and Old Age Security call center agent. ESDC met the standard 6% of the time. These are failing grades, especially the 6%. No wonder people aren't getting through. What directives have you given on this blatant lack of basic government service taxpayers pay for and expect, Minister?
Okay, so those were a lot of questions all packaged into one. I would start by disputing that we have delivered less services. I think dental care, pharmacare, child care, new investments in passports are significant improvements.
Minister, my questions
I'm sorry,
about service
there's a lot of
standards.
questions. I'm going to try and answer them.
They're on
if that's
service
okay.
standards, so answer the question on service standards, please. Thank you, Minister.
I'm going to address all the questions. Mr. Chair, am I allowed to address the questions?
Yes, and you've got 30 seconds. Then we'll move.
30 seconds. Okay, so you're right. I did state that we were targeting the fall of 2024 for digital renewals, and you are right. It is not the fall of 2024. That is an unfortunate situation about the photos. If you want to pass them on to me, I'm happy to be helpful. With regards to customer service standards, you said we were dealing with last year. 2022, 2023 was not last year. 2023, 2024 was last year. With regards to the pension call center,
Sorry,
we've actually
Minister, I have to
reduced-
correct you. I said it was the last fiscal year.
I'm sorry, I'm just finishing
It was
my-
the last fiscal year. Thank you.
Yeah, the
That's what
last
I
fiscal
said.
year
Thank
was
you.
2023, 2024. I just wanted to answer a
Minister?
question, Mr. Chair. The pension call center wait times went from 62 minutes in 2022 to 23 minutes in 2023, and they are presently 19.3 minutes. So better is definitely possible, and I think there are ways that we can improve those numbers still, and we are working to do so, but they have gone down every single year for the last 3 years.
Thank you, Ms. Gray. Ms. Ferrari?